What's going on, nomads, party people, and strangers everywhere across the internet? My name is V, and welcome back to another installment of a special Nomadic Reviews. Throughout this entire month, we've been focusing on shorts coming straight from Crypt TV, and this one is no different, where this one is centered around their Cryptic Fables series, focused around at least 5 different fables, each one trying to take a darker interpretation of a fable. I'm not going to go into the whole specifics as to all the ones they're going into, but we're going to focus on the one that attached me the most, which is of the Pied Piper, aka Kinderfanger, or Kinderfanger. One of those two pronunciations, because I don't speak German that well. So, this one begins where the Pied Piper myth ends, from when the people of Hamlin are trying to look for their kids, excluding the part where there's a child coming back into town to tell them the full story. Instead, children are going missing, and it's kind of sending every single parent in town into a huge frenzy about, where's my child, where's my child? And yet there's this one small, itty-bitty, precious little baby child that's just happens to be deaf, just wandering around the place.
Who's calling you?
Sorry about...
Oh, ain't she precious. She's gonna be our main protagonist. And she's not a Kenny, so we know it's not a Godzilla or Gamera movie. In any case, though, we're just treated as some small search and rescue type scenes of people still looking for their kids. But then when we see our small little deaf baby child just standing around with smokes trying to surround her, we then have a jump cut to her going into a small little cave that looks like some kind of musical note sort of piece right here. Sort of like an attachment piece to a wind instrument that I thought was very well established. Very nice location scouting on the film director's part. A+ job there. I appreciate that sort of nod. So, we then have a small scene inside the cave that leads into the small little baby child finding every other missing child there. However, there's a slightly malevolent force just hanging around the area. But what does this malevolent force look like, you may be asking? You guys are probably having a little bit of a creep-out factor moment, and you're probably loving it. We'll get back into that later. I promise you, we'll get back to that later. In any case, though, our small little baby child decides to go into the center and look for another missing child that happens to be called Max, as you can see from the poster here. And then it's basically Kinderfanger looking at the child, being like, I have enough to possess, I have enough going on, but why am I not possessing this child? The answer comes from a small little thing that I skipped over for this review to go into this point. So,
Put in your hearing aid.
yes, her hearing aid. Her hearing aid, since she is a deaf baby child, allows her to just slip through a small bit of the loophole, which is the musical accompaniment of the flute, or pied, one of those two things, that allows the small little baby child to take Max away. But now Kinderfanger's plan, however, has come to fruition, after which she does save Max, but it is short-lived. With Max being saved, he's now away from the brainwashing, but now he remembers what Kinderfanger was playing in his instrument, as well as the other kids that just happen to be called out by Kinderfanger out of the cave to then see all the search party that's been looking for the entire short. However, we then get this. Then after Kinderfanger returns out of nowhere, we cut to credits. And may I say, this is a very well done short, which has a lot of open-ended things about why Kinderfanger is doing this to this city. Out of all the sort of cryptic things that go into what I've been doing for Cryptic-tober or Crypt-tober, if you would, I've tried to narrow down at least plausible reasons why the monsters or killers did what they've done. I've gone through an entire list of them with only these 5 to be examples about things I can kind of understand even if I don't get the actual motive, sort of like with Laundroman. But with Kinderfanger, it's a lot of open-ended things because you have no idea why he would enslave children to just disassemble basically the entire mass of the search party, if not to amass an entire childlike army to go across the entire country to then just try and rip everyone asunder from here all the way to Istanbul. Not Constantinople. Sorry. I didn't mean to go that far with a bad, out-of-date reference. So, with that being the case, along with the interesting way that they've done things to set up their main protagonist, I can't really say it's a bad short. None of these are bad shorts. It's just a matter of how I feel about them being executed. That is the genuine issue. With this one having a lot of beautiful things done about it, but I just still kind of wonder what the hell is the end game if they're going to make this a full-blown series at some point, because there's a lot of material to be a real-life entry into the cryptic universe that Crypt TV is trying to make for itself. However, that would be just what I said is the problem. Where would they go from here? Because a lot of these shorts have potential to go into an entire expanded universe for itself. But Kinderfanger, for the last time, where is your endgame if you were to continue from where you are? You have a lot of open-ended things that you can do. You can do an entire backstory as to the creation of Kinderfanger himself, as well as to how he chose these children out of the blue like this. But where would this go? Is my genuine question, because it is very interesting. As such, I'm going to end it here with the rating scale I'm going to give it from the classical stuff that I do of 0 to 13 by awarding this a 9.1 out of 13 for its amazing casting. Once again, incredible special effects, amazing creature of the short, but I'm not making it any higher because of that whole thing of where can it go from here category. It has a lot to settle for itself, but at the same time I'm just like, no, where do you go from here? I'm very, very torn on where this could go, because there are a lot of different avenues you could go with this, and it makes me so angry that I can't really choose just one. So we're just gonna try and settle for now, but we also gotta think about what happens next time for Nomadic Reviews, as we then focus on
Feel like I live in a dream. Yeah, can somebody give me the definition of a dream? Huh? Does anybody even know what it mean? Nah, I'ma tell you what it mean, but I know you wouldn't believe.